Hi, Steve and Christina Brown here with the Brown team. We're here today because Valentine's Day just passed, and I thought it would be cool and interesting for people to know how we met.
Great.
So, we met back in 1989 at a bowling alley.
King Louis, it's not there anymore.
No, it does not exist. It was in Independence, across from Independence Center.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there because my parents were bowling in a league, hanging out.
And I was there because I took my brother and his friend to shoot pool after a movie.
And you had taken them to see a movie and they begged you to go play pool because you said you didn't even want to go.
Right, I almost didn't. Right.
And so you showed up that night with your brother, your little brother and his friend.
Yep.
And I had a friend that I hung out with every Friday night at the bowling alley. She was my bowling alley friend, Heather, if you're watching. So Heather, my sister, and I were all walking across the bowling alley, up the lane,
I remember
right?
walking in the door, my brother and his friend, and it's kind of like you passed by and I saw you and you saw me. It was just, I remember walking in the door, and we were turning to go
to the
counter or something like that. And then I saw you.
And I saw you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my friend, he's cute. And you probably didn't say anything to your brother and his little friend, I'm guessing, but.
No, I didn't say anything to him. But I definitely noticed you.
And so I told Heather, and Heather, what does she do? She goes up to you. You're in there with your brother, right? And your guys are
we're
playing
shooting pool in there. They had probably a dozen pool tables in there. Yeah.
And so she goes in and she goes up to you. What did she say to you?
Yeah, she came up. She came up and she just said, "My friend thinks you're cute," or something like that. And I said, "Well, why don't you tell her to come up here and talk to me?"
And so I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in there and we're talking, and the next night was our first date.
Yeah, I asked you out, and then we went out. Yeah, was
on
it
a double date. Yeah, it was the next
day. Yeah, a friend of mine, Jimmy Phillips, went out. He
went on a double date.
A double date with you. Your sister came out, but anyhow, we went and shot pool.
We did.
We was gonna go do something else.
We were gonna go to a Comets game.
Mm-hmm. He was supposed to get tickets or something to a Comets game.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to get those, so we went to shoot pool instead.
Yeah.
It was our first date. Yeah.
There you go. And that was in October.
I don't remember that. So.
It was in October. And then after that, like the next couple months, we saw each other in some way,
because I left
some
for
way almost
basic
every
training
day.
in January.
Yeah. So here we are,
Mm-hmm.
hanging out, doing different things together. You pick me up from school sometimes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And about a week before you were leaving for the Air Force, you're like, by the way,
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to tell you I was leaving for the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to say that because I didn't plan for all this to happen. Before I went to basic training.
Right.
I wasn't planning on meeting.
Because you were already signed up.
Yeah.
Signed on the dotted line, delayed entry, waiting for your date to come.
I signed up when I was in high school, and I was just waiting after high school to go to basic training.
Yeah.
So I was working at White Castle, and they used to have White Castle in Blue Springs.
Yeah.
I was working there until I left for basic training.
And my family, we did not like White Castle.
No.
But
but your mom would drive through the drive-through with you in the car.
I'm telling you, we never went to White Castle
just so
ever.
You could see me.
Not even for a drink until I met you, and then my mom's like, "Let's go to White Castle."
Yeah.
We can't stand their food.
Yeah, I was working a drive-through.
And just to order a drink.
Yeah.
And she would embarrass me so bad. She's like, "Hi, Steve."
But we dated pretty much every night.
Yeah, we saw each other, I think, every single day until
with the basic
left.
Training and.
So then here comes
other.
January, and you leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the airport with your dad to see you off. And then that was that, and we wrote for a while.
We wrote, and then I graduated basic training, and then I had to go to tech school.
I went and saw you graduate.
Yeah, and then in tech school, your parents decided, I think your dad decided maybe a long distance relationship wasn't the best thing for right then or something like that. And so we kind of split up, and then when I had already been in the Air Force for like 4 years.
So what happened in my life is I had just finished my first year of college. And then I just was thinking about it.
Yep, called me out of the blue. Well, he called my brother out of the blue.
The only number I have.
Yeah, and then he said, well, he's still in the Air Force. He's in North Dakota. And
then that night you called me.
And then he got your number, gave it to me. Then I called you, and then I called you up and said I was coming home for leave in a couple weeks. And it had been like 2 years, I think, since we had really talked.
Seen each other.
Yeah. And then I came home and we saw each other, and it was like it was nothing stopped. And then that first night we saw each other is when I asked you to marry me.
Yep. So I hadn't seen you in a long time.
It was pretty crazy.
I didn't even tell my mom that I was talking to you again because I hadn't seen you yet. I didn't know what I was going to think of you or what you were going to think of me. And so I lied that night, and I said I was going to see my friend Jenny, hang out with Jenny, and I was just going to see how it went that night, if I was still interested, and if you were still interested. And my friend Jenny calls that night looking for me.
Yep.
And my mom
and then your mom knew something was up. But I mean, we hadn't really seen each other. I mean, we really 2 years we hadn't talked.
Right.
But I mean, it was just one of those things where we saw each other again. I just was like, man, I don't want to lose you again. So
and that's what you said to me.
And you said, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And we sat in that car of mine for like 2 hours talking that night. And my friend John was waiting for us to come inside with him and his wife to eat. We never even left the car. And then I just said, well, will you marry me?
And I said yes.
And she said yes. And then
here we are.
It was like crazy. I remember my grandma, my dad's mom, Grandma Brown, didn't think it would last. She thought it was crazy. And I told my grandma, I said, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't feel like that's what I wanted to do. That's just the way it was.
She gave us 6 months.
Yeah, I
and
remember
now
that.
We've been married 27 and a half years.
I remember my dad just kind of thumped me on the chest and said, he's like, what does this say? And I said, I want to marry her. He's like, that's all you need to know. I never forget that. So.
It worked out okay.
Yeah, almost, what are we at now, 28?
It'll be 28 this
28?
October.
Yep.
So there you go. Making it work.
Happened like that.
There you
happened
go.
like that when I saw you, and then it happened like that when I asked you to marry me. So
that's right.
You know, I always tell when I'm showing houses, I always tell them, it says kind of like when we got married. I said you just knew that was the one.
That was the one.
I said it's like the same with the house. You just know. You know, when you walk in, you know. That's the best thing I can compare it to. You know, it's like you just know.
Yep. And we were right, weren't we?
Yep.
So 4 kids, soon to be 3 grandbabies later. Hopefully many more to come.
Yeah, we'll see.
So there you go. That's our story. So in the comments, tell us yours.